welcome back to my channel, Flamingo Homeschool. I'm Angela. Thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to talk about why we love homeschooling. This is a good video for you if you are thinking about homeschooling but you're not sure what some of the benefits might be. This may help you understand some of those a little bit better. At least these are benefits to our family and to me. So I'm just going to get right into it. The number one thing is flexibility. We can plan our own schedules. We can plan our own vacations whenever. Days off, we can coordinate those when my husband has days off and when we have family events or things like that, or when we want to go on a trip. And even our daily schedule. In my last video, I believe it was my last video, I talked about how sometimes we get a later start than like the traditional school system. So we usually start about 9 or 9:30 and we follow our routine. We don't really have a set time for everything. We just have this is what we do first, this is what we do second, and then we just kind of keep going down our list until we are done. So they know that after, language arts, we're going to do math or, things like that. So it's kind of like a routine more than a schedule. But it works a lot better for us. My kids have some time to play outside. I have time to get things situated and get myself together, have a cup of coffee, have some quiet time, and they can get some of that energy out. That way they are able to focus better. So that just works really well for us, and we're able to kind of dictate that as far as what our schedule is going to look like, what our school is going to look like. So you can even get your kids involved in planning out your days or, planning out your curriculum, things like that. That's flexibility that we have. We have the flexibility to use whatever curriculum we want to use. I'm not sure if that's the same in all states, but here in Florida, you can use whatever curriculum you'd like. And so that's really awesome. And so that would be one of my favorite things about homeschooling. So another thing about homeschooling is that I'm able to really tailor the learning for each child in my home. So we're able to go faster on things that they excel at, and we're able to go slower on things that they are having a hard time grasping, or that maybe they're weak in a certain area. We can spend more time on that, or I can spend more one-on-one time with them to help them grasp that concept. So they're not kind of left behind, and they're also not, bored because they are excelling and their class is not, where they are. For example, my daughter, when she was in kindergarten, she was in public school for part of that year. And I found that in her class, she was always getting great remarks from her teachers and getting really great grades. And she was just excelling above her class, per se. And so she would kind of get a little bored sometimes because she would grasp things, but some other children may not. And then they would kind of have to go slower on certain things. So she wasn't, let me just put this, she wasn't challenged as much as she could have been in certain areas. And so she was not, I feel, getting to the potential that she had. Whereas my son, he had areas where he was struggling to focus on because he, like I've said before, if you've seen any of my other videos, you probably know that he has sensory processing disorder, and he has a really hard time focusing. He's gotten so much better though, but he has a hard time sitting and focusing for long periods of time. And so he would become disruptive because he needed to get energy out. He needed to seek sensory stimulation for his brain. So he would kind of be not challenged as much in that respect, where he was disruptive. So he was kind of almost branded like he was distracting, which it was, I'm sure, in a classroom setting. But I am able to say to him, in tailoring his education, hey, go jump on the trampoline for 10 minutes, or do, 20 jumping jacks, and then we'll come back and try this again so that you can focus a little better, because when he's needing that sensory input, he really can't physically sit still. So those are some ways of how I can tailor it to my kids. And it's almost like, if there's something that they're struggling in, and I know what that is, so therefore I can try different things to help them grasp that, and I can spend as much time as we need on those things to really help them grasp those concepts and things. So that's one thing that I really, really love about homeschooling, is that I am able to really customize it to help them learn. For my son, another thing that we did was, if I am just holding up flashcards to him, he is not like into it at all, and he does not care, and he might not be like paying it, like, look, there's something, oh, look at that, and tapping on his desk and not paying attention. Now, what I would have him do is I would have him drive his cars, his little Matchbox cars, to the parking space with whatever word or whatever answer to a math problem on it. And so I would just get little cards and have him drive his cars there, and that really helped him to grasp those concepts. And also it would show me he does know the answer, it's just that he can't focus when I'm just doing flashcards or something like that with him. Or I can play a game of money bingo, and so he has to count the money on the card to make sure, does he have 35 cents, and so that is a game we can play over and over again to help him with his skills on counting money, whereas just doing problems in a math book he may not be able to focus on that as much, because in a game he can, get up and down out of his chair, he can, move his little piece, or he can put his little pieces on the board, on the bingo card, whatever that may be. It works a lot better for him in the way that he learns. So that is a really awesome benefit of homeschooling. So the next thing, it was something that was really important to me. My husband and I are both, we love learning, and we love to learn all different kinds of things. Some things are just random and some things are not, my husband really loves to learn about knot tying different knots and things like that. And he's been out on a boat all his life and things like that. So, I love to learn as much as I can about all different kinds of things, science and math and things like that. And I am a total book nerd. If you have watched any of my videos, I'm sure you know, and you've seen all my book hauls and things. I am always reading 2 or 3 books and listening to audiobooks and things like that. So I love to learn, so does my husband. So we really wanted to create and cultivate a lifelong love of learning, and also, follow our children's interests in that. And homeschooling really gives us that opportunity to hone in on what their interests are as far as what they want to learn. For instance, I just got this because my daughter, and it's the Good and the Beautiful's birds unit, and my daughter is right now just obsessed with all different kinds of birds. She wants to know everything that she can about birds. And so this is going to be our next unit study. Right now we're doing geology, but that is something that I'm able to do. I'm able to say, hey, she really wants to know about birds, and so then we're going to learn about birds, and she might want to know more about, kingdoms and classification after that, or mammals, or, and we're able to follow those things that she's interested in, or my son is interested in. He really wanted to do the geology unit, and she did too, but this was one that he really picked out. And I find that when you're following their interests, then they retain so much more of it, and they enjoy it, and they have that love of learning that they don't necessarily get sometimes in the school system. And that's not to say they don't, because my husband and I both went to public school and we both love to learn. And so that's not to say that you can't get that in a regular school, but I feel like it's so rewarding to be able to follow those things that they want to learn. And also, going along with creating that love of learning is that we try to create a learning lifestyle. So, like, for instance, my daughter loves to bake and she loves to cook, and she just is fascinated with anything having to do with cupcakes or things that she can make and frost. And she loves watching, videos on making all different kinds of little treats and things like that are really cute and decorative. And so we bake. And when we bake, I might, get out a certain measuring cup and say, oh, we only have a quarter cup measuring cup and we need 2 cups of flour. How many quarter cups does it take to get that? And then she'll be like figuring it out in her head, and it's 8. Oh, okay, we gotta, go ahead and put those in. And so she's learning math while she's cooking what she loves to do, so it's just so fun to see them learn and ask questions and want to know more about all different things in your life, and just really having that lifestyle of learning where you can just kind of watch and ask questions, and then they ask questions. It's just really, really fun. So that's one of the other things that I really love about homeschooling my children. The next thing is, I feel like we are cultivating better relationships with our children. And through those relationships, we are able to kind of shape their worldview and help them, this is right and wrong, and this is going to be right no matter what other people are doing, or, things like that. This is the truth and this is not. And so, we are always going to be kind, because that's how you treat people. And, seeing people for who they are. My daughter had a child who was kind of picking on her and pushing her, and it was at church. And she, is not the type to really fight, because she loves everybody. She's very kind to everybody. Not to say she doesn't have her moments, because they all do, but she's very loving towards her peers, and she's really outgoing and bubbly. And so she did not understand why this person was being the way they were, and so we kind of went through different scenarios on why, this person could possibly, be doing this. And also, I was able to tell her that, everybody's not going to like you, and that's okay, because, the people that you want around you are the people that love you for who you are, and you're going to be true to yourself, and you're not going to change yourself just so this person will like you, because, and we just kind of we're able to have those deep conversations of, sometimes people are hurting, and sometimes that's why they hurt other people, or sometimes people are having a bad day, and things like that. And so, it's really, really awesome to have those deeper relationships with my children, where they come and they want to talk to me, and they're saying, hey mom, can I tell you something? Things like that. And that is one of the awesome benefits of homeschooling, for sure. Another thing that is a benefit, I feel like, to homeschooling is that you are able to teach certain life skills that are not necessarily always taught in the school system, or they may be, you know, taught a little but not really. For instance, like being a self-starter. I really want my kids to be a self-starter and to, you know, get after it, I guess you could say, right away, and not kind of be like, I don't know what to do. I want them to take the bull by the horns, so to speak. I really want them to know how to budget, how to balance a checkbook, you know, or a checking account. I want them to know how to cook and bake. You know, my daughter is 7 and she has cooked family dinners for us. And those skills, like I said, they involve all different kinds of skills, you know, as far as math goes, and then, you know, the obvious skills of chopping things and cooking things and using, you know, those abilities. I want them to know how to do laundry. I want them to know how to, you know, be hard workers and do everything as unto the Lord. So, you know, don't do something halfway. You finish what you start, or things like that. I want them to have the ability to join different sports and things, but I want them to understand that when you make a commitment, you commit, and you commit to your teammates. So you don't just stop doing that if you don't feel like going that day, if that makes sense. So I feel like I am able to teach my children those things and really benefit them and equip them so that when they do leave the nest, so to speak, they are prepared to do their very best and make their very best life that they want in this world. And so those are some of the things that I really, really love about homeschooling. And I love spending time with my kids. I love being able to say, hey, let's go to SeaWorld, you know, today, and that's where we're going to do school, or let's go to the beach and do school there, or the park, or whatever. Like I said, we do live in Florida, so there is amazing weather pretty much 90% of the days, I would say. We do get a little rain in the middle of the day sometimes, but it goes away just as quick as it comes. So really, we are able to go outside as much as we want and have school outside if we want to. So all those things are benefits to homeschooling, in my opinion. They're benefits that I see and things that I love about our homeschool. I love that my children want to be homeschooled and they love homeschooling. You know, they don't want to go back to regular school. And people say like socialization might be something that would be a negative for homeschoolers, but that's just not the case for my kids. They have more of a social life than I do, honestly. And it's, you know, there's sports, there's church groups, there's clubs, there's the YMCA, there's all different kinds of things where your kids can have that socialization. And even at the park, you know, my people are like, oh, they're going to be weird. When I first started homeschooling, they're like, oh, they're going to be weird. They won't know how to act around their own, you know, age group. And that's just not the case. Anywhere we go, the park, the grocery store, my kids are making friends with kids their own age and kids older than them, kids younger than them. You know, they're making friends. They, you know, so don't let anybody tell you that's going to stop you. Honestly, I feel like my kids have more of a social life outside of school than they did when they were in public school, honestly. But so anyways, I'm glad you're watching. Thank you so much for watching. If you're thinking about homeschooling, just know that you are fully equipped to teach your children by God. You know everything you need to know, and the things you don't know, you can learn along with your children. You can do this. If I can do this and my kids love it and I am successful and they are happy and they are smart, you can do this. You can do this. Sometimes it's a lot of work, but it is so worth it.